From rags to riches has always been coined as the American dream. Vuyani the Beast Bungu has now made it the South African dream.
Junior featherweight champion of the world, the Carousel King, Vuyani the Beast Bungu.
He's one of the best in the world, and I don't think at the moment there's anyone who can beat him at this division.
This tough and tenacious boxer has taken on the world and proven the adage, to be the best, you have to beat the best. He's done just that in a professional career which has spanned nearly 12 years. The very likeable champion has remained modest of his accomplishments despite his humble beginnings.
When Vuyani Bungu was at school, he used to take his packet of sandwiches with him, and at break he'd sit apart from the other children with his back towards them, and he'd open his packet and he'd take out his sandwich. But what he'd take out of the packet was a rock, and he'd put it to his mouth to simulate that he was eating, just far enough that the other children couldn't see him, because his family was so poor that they couldn't give him food to take to school.
Fueled by the fire of desire to improve his standard of living and that of his family, Vuyani took to the square ring in April of 1987. Equipped with a tenacious will to succeed, he scored an impressive 10 knockouts in his first 15 fights. On May the 13th, 1990, Vuyani captured the South African junior featherweight title by outpointing the powerful and heavy-hitting Francie Badenhorst over 12 rounds.
12 rounds. Well, let's see if he can keep up that attack. Again, the right hand goes in. This challenger hasn't got an awful lot to give in reply to those kind of punches.
Well, he still doesn't look as though he recovered from that first round pounding.
Oh, no, a right.
Francie Badenhorst fought Vuyani Bungu in Cape Town, and he beat Vuyani Bungu. And then we fought Vuyani Bungu in a rematch in Cape Town. And Vuyani Bungu took the title from Francie Badenhorst. And I always thought that, a guy that beats Francie Badenhorst and it can come past that power of Francie Badenhorst, he'll be a good fighter one day. And Vuyani just grew since then, he just became better and better. Like I said, he's a very underrated fighter. He's one of South Africa's best champions we've ever had, next to Brian Mitchell.
Managed and trained by the irrepressible Vuyani, Vuyani went on to defend his national title 5 times and scored a sensational 7 knockouts in his next 9 fights.
When Welcome Nita won the world title, I don't remember the year, but the fight was in Tel Aviv. So I was a chief sparring partner of Welcome. So when we won the world title, I told myself that maybe I can achieve that, because he's the man I'm working with Welcome. So I'm a chief sparring partner of him, so he reached the climax, so maybe if I can do well, maybe I can reach it. One day I remember when we put the belt on my waist, and then he said, Vuyani, if you can work hard, you can be a world champion.
Vuyani was matched to meet Welcome Nita's conqueror Kennedy McKinney on the 20th of August 1994 for the IBF Junior Featherweight World title. Few gave Vuyani any chance of upsetting this highly rated champion.
When Welcome Nita fought Kennedy McKinney the second time in America, Vuyani Bungu came as a sparring partner. He was on the undercard, and he had a very good win on that undercard. When it was subsequently suggested a few months later that he fights for the world title, I was vehemently opposed to it, because, not detracting from my opinion of Bungu as a fighter, he's always been very good, but one mustn't lose track of the fact that Kennedy McKinney was an Olympian gold medalist. He was unbeaten at the time, and he was regarded pound for pound as one of the best fighters in the world. So I gave Vuyani Bungu very little chance of winning, especially it was also such a major step up in class. Anyhow, Cedric Kushner kept on me for weeks and weeks, and he was trying to entice me to take the fight. And Vuyani is one of the astutest men I've ever met in boxing. he assured me that Bungu would acquit himself very well in that fight. So I eventually took it, hoping that Bungu would do himself justice and enhance his reputation, but never expecting him to win.
The beast tamed McKinney in 12 one-sided rounds, and the stage was set for a fistic future that would have few peers.
Opponents that he's fought, they all say the same thing after the fight. When they are preparing and watching him, he doesn't look anything special, but when they get in the ring with him, he's moving the whole time and he's backwards and forwards, and he's very unpredictable. They don't know what he's doing. They've got to be on their toes the whole time, on the back foot. So he's very, very clever. He picks up a lot of blows. He takes very little punishment, and his retaliation, he's not renowned as being a puncher, but his blows carry respect, and they're very accurate. He's very, very difficult to fight.
He's got a good style because he's not easy to hit because he bobs and waves. So the man like that is difficult to catch him.
He's a very smart fighter. You know, he reminds me of a guy that plays chess. Round for round, he just makes the right moves. You know, and at the end of the fight, it's checkmate. You know, he makes sure that he doesn't make a mistake, because otherwise you can get tagged.
If you look at his style of fighting, he's got what pleases the crowd in terms of he's an attacking fighter. Every minute of the fight, there's no dull moment. Right from the first, you know, for 3 minutes, there's action, there's action, there's action, and that's what people are looking for.
I think his style is very good because he's awkward. You can't hit him easily, but he can hit his opponent easily. So I think it's a good style. Because, you know, in boxing, if you want to become a good fighter, you mustn't get hit, but you must be able to hit. You see, like, let's say, for instance, like good fighters, we're talking about good fighters. Roberto Duran, he was a good fighter. Sugar Ray Leonard was a good fighter. Same like Bungu. Bungu you can't hit Bungu. There's no way that you can catch Bungu and hit Bungu, but Bungu can catch you at any time.
Following his scintillating world title victory, Vuyani accepted all challenges and defended his crown successfully 7 times over the next 2 years. He was matched once again in his 8th defense with America's favorite Kennedy McKinney on the 5th of April, 1997. McKinney eagerly sought to regain his lost glory, but the beast was adamant. He wanted to prove once and for all he was the greatest in the division.
What's the elbow? The referee, Stanley Christopher, they attempt to watch the elbow. Not much goes past this referee. He's a top-class referee.
Bungu, by comparison, fairly unmarked.
Well, we know those pinpoint punches coming in from Bungu, but we've still got 3 long minutes to go. And, there's a good run there from McKinney. This is desperate stuff here from McKinney. He knows he's got to pull out the big one. Bungu's just got to take it easy.
Bungu not daunted by those punches. He's throwing back. In fact, he's throwing better punches back. Bungu set such a staggering pace. I don't think McKinney can believe it.
But he's a tired man, this young Bungu. And that's big shots coming there from the champion. This is dangerous stuff here for the champion. He's just going to hang in there. It's a tired Vuyani Bungu. He's just going to hang in there because the big shots are coming in from the ex-champion. That's Kennedy McKinney. It's a tired Vuyani Bungu. You're in round 12. Possibly the best round here so far of McKinney.
Bungu surely knows he doesn't have to do too much work. He must box defensively. He must cover up. He mustn't allow McKinney to get a big shot in at this stage.
Well, this has been a very good round there for Kennedy McKinney. But it's a desperate McKinney. And it's a tired champion here, Vuyani Bungu. He's just got to hang in there to retain his title, because if he hears that bell for the end of round 12, he'll still be the champion, I'm quite sure. There's been a tremendous pace set here by the champion, Vuyani Bungu. And we're going to the last minute here of round 12.
Compelling performance from Bungu. He's stuck to his game plan. He's set on McKinney all out, and he's landed with some big right hands.
But it's a tired McKinney. He's just trying to throw that big right hand. He's just trying to get it in. He knows that the fight's slipping away from him, and his only hope is to knock out the champion. And that'll be an upset for the books. He's only got 35 seconds left. But there you are. That's a big one. And you see him smile. He can take it. He's a gutsy fighter, this.
Well, Vuyani Bungu 26 seconds away from a successful 8th defense. Surely it's his.
But he's got to stick in there because this has been a very, very good round here for the challenger. He's been taking the fight, backing the champion up, and it's a tired champion here as we go into the last 10 seconds. And now, it's the last 10 seconds of this fight. And Bungu's going to hang in there. There's no doubt he will retain his title. An excellent performance, Chapai. And what a great performance of the South African champion.
Vuyani won the bout on a split decision.
That's really beyond me.
Vuyani Bungu, world champion again. A great fight, Vuyani.
Yeah, it was a great fight, you know, especially in the later rounds. He came up with some hooks and right hands, you know, and I tried to duck it, you know. I mean, he was a tough fight anyway, but I showed him that I'm a world champion, man, and I need those big guys over there in America, you know. I'm okay now. I'm in the game now. I'm in best shape now.
I thought it was a bit of a disappointment, a split decision. I couldn't see it like that. How did you? The split decision must have worried you.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's a man. He was fit for the fight, you know. He keep on coming, and I tried to show him that I'm a world champion, you know.
Great fight and a great champion. Well done, Vuyani.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Continuing his undefeated reign, Vuyani outshone another 3 challengers and then travelled to Atlantic City in October last year to face what many believed would be his toughest opponent, his challenger, Danny Romero, a 2-time former world champion who boasted a record of 33 wins, 2 defeats, and an incredible 29 knockouts.
South Africa, and Danny Romero for the IBF Junior Featherweight Championship. The Boardwalk Atlantic City Convention Center, Atlantic City, New Jersey. Dave Fontempo and Nigel Collins. Glad you're with us.
Bungu's off to a quick start this round. He's landed 2 or 3 nice sharp punches. Maybe he's decided it's time to pick his own offense up a bit.
Well, with Romero not able to get inside on him, perhaps his confidence has escalated. His sense of timing indicating the opportunity to step it up is here. Ninth round action. Vuyani Bungu, Danny Romero for the IBF Junior Featherweight Championship. Held by Bungu.
Well, even though Bungu's main mission, obviously, is to keep a hold of the title, you'd also think he'd like to win impressively on this visit to the United States on the big card. And right now, he's just sort of doing enough to win.
He's fighting with a style that can get him to a point triumph.
Get out. All right, break your arm. Let him go. Step back. Watch your head.
But Danny Romero
Nice and clean.
is not applying the type of pressure that he needs.
You're holding and hitting. Step back. Step back.
This is a guy that many people in boxing expect him to beat, expect him to take the title from. And we are just not seeing the inside game from Danny Romero that we're used to.
You don't see the fire, Dave.
No. And then, you know, it's one thing after Tapia to say, I boxed the guy when I should have slugged. But it won't work here.
And he just got tagged with a right hand against a few seconds ago.
Watch the head. Watch the head.
Danny Romero is not fighting the style that would lead him to a victory. Depending on where you are, the champion in the blue has done a nice job negating Romero. And Danny Romero has not been on the inside as much as he wants. Still dangerous at any stage of a fight to score with a power shot.
Break.
Nigel is a guy that looks confused. He's tried everything he can throw.
Nice and clean. Nice and clean.
He's tried to move in. He couldn't do it. Tried to outbox Bungu at long range. He couldn't do it. Every now and then he gets clipped with a little short punch out of nowhere that makes him even more discouraged. Danny basically doesn't know what to do anymore. if he had laid the foundation with a steady body attack earlier in the fight, perhaps he would be wearing Bungu down by now. But Bungu's just doing the same thing he was doing in the first round.
Vuyani ran out a convincing winner on points. In so doing, equaling Brian Mitchell's South African record of defending a world title 12 times.
Has the title still with a majority decision, a little closer on 2 cards than we thought.
That's the kind of fighter he is. He's not very obvious about anything other than that he wins.
I think the only hardest part is when you fought Danny Romero, because I respected Danny Romero. I saw Danny Romero when I was fighting the same place in Las Vegas. I saw Danny Romero. I thought this guy is going far, and he's a former world champion. And I thought Bungu doesn't have a chance. But Bungu surprisingly, he beat that guy, you know. So after that fight, I started to respect Bungu, that he's one of the top featherweights that this country ever produced. So he's going far. I mean, if he puts his mind together, he can also beat Hamed.
Vuyani's personality, it's something different. If you want to know why is he special to me. But at the same time, why is he special in terms of boxing? I think Vuyani is a real role model, because where he comes from and his boxing, I will say, has never been different from the others. But because he's a dedicated person, he's somebody who's prepared to listen, somebody who always listens, do what he's been told to do. That's what makes him. Those are, it's an ingredient of a lot of good things that from each and every youngster, if he can put them together, then he'll be special. And I agree with you, he is special. And he'll remain special because he's one of the best kids that you can tell them to do something and he will do it. He's got he's got, sometimes the only thing that is bad about him is that he can allow you to do even something that is wrong to him. He'll always say yes, even if something wrong about it. But when it comes to do that, I think he's number one.
Nothing has come easy to Vuyani Bungu. He's had to fight for everything he has. And I think the public appreciates that too, and it's an affection for a person when you see how hard they've worked to attain what they have.
When you sit down and talk to Vuyani Bungu, or when you bump into him and just talk to him in general, nobody will know that he's a champion. It didn't go to his head. He's still the same guy as I remember him the first time fighting Francis Barnos. Yeah, and I think that's why he's so successful. He's such a nice guy.
Having already etched his name as one of the all-time greats in the annals of South African boxing history, come February the 6th, Vuyani the Beast Bungu will be attempting to go one better. He'll be climbing through the ropes to make his 13th defense. His opponent, the #1 contender, Victor Larena, a fighter who boasts a record of 22 wins, 16 knockouts and only 1 defeat. His only loss being at the hands of Vuyani Bungu in April of 1995.
In convincing fashion. The Beast has done it, and he breaks into a broad grin. Both fighters embrace. Well, there's no question about who was master and who was pupil in the ring tonight.
It's going to be a tough fight for him, but Vuyani's got the tools to get up for it. He digs deep when he needs to, and when he's behind on points or the guy's getting tough, he gets going, and he knows how to dig deep, and that's the sign of a good champion. He can come from behind and defend his title.
One thing that I can assure you that we cannot think that because we beat him first time, it's going to be the same. Obviously, the man can think, they've planned it, and sometimes the hungrier they are, the more dangerous they become. The man is hungry. And another thing that I can tell you that maybe first time he had what we call sometimes a stage fright. He was not sure maybe whether he can handle the champion. Problem now is got more confidence. So we are ready anyway, whatever, because I can tell Vuyani now again. And once more, when Victor Larena at that stage, he had only 14 fights. Now he's got 22 fights, and he has only lost to Vuyani. So it shows that he is one of the best. But even if it's so, Vuyani, he's matured. He's got everything. Whatever angle, the Victor Larena comes with, we've got no problem. We'll handle him.
I've seen him now training, preparing for this fight. He's well prepared, and I think he knows what is at stake for him. Breaking a record is going to be history-making for him. So I think he'll come up being a victor.
It's not about the record, because my career now it's continuing, so I can't compare with anyone. I'm glad that I'm right here now defending my title for the 13th time.
I've never ever compared myself to any other South African fighter or world fighter. I think everybody's in their own era. He's been a fantastic athlete. He's been a great ambassador and an example to South African boxing, like I was in the 80s and the 90s. And it's his time, and I hope he does break my record. And I'm now training a world champion, Harry Simon, and I hope Harry Simon breaks Vuyani's record, because then we'll make lots of money. But no, I'm not envious of anybody. I mean, I can never be the first world champion in this country. That goes to Victor Will. I was the first guy to defend 12 times. Vuyani is the second guy, and hopefully Vuyani will be the first guy to break my record.
We have been offered genuinely a fight with Nassim Ahmed. As I talk to you, I wouldn't say negotiations are advanced to the stage where we're signing, but it is so serious that Hamed's manager, Riaz Hamed, who's now in control of Hamed's career, will be at ringside on Saturday night, specifically for discussions that we are having for a possible Bungu Hamed fight in April or July. So I'm hoping that, and knowing Bungu, I'm sure I'm correct, that with that in the offing, it's going to take a superhuman effort by Lorena to beat him.
Vuyani Bungu, be there, stand up for South Africans and break that record and make your own record whereby we can look, or all the youngsters can look up to you.
Vuyani, you must train very hard and don't take this fight very easy, because the guy that you are fighting, you fought him before. He knows how are you going to fight when you get into the ring. You have to take this fight very, very serious. You'll beat him again. I know you'll do it for us.
Vuyani, go out there, keep that title, but move up a division or two and do another 13 defenses.
Whatever road this humble hero from Mndanzani's career now follows, Vuyani the Beast Bungu has undoubtedly proved himself a living legend in the history of South African boxing.
I don't want him to know that, because probably that could be a problem. If he's a legend, let's keep it secret, because probably those are the things that makes people maybe. I've heard Nassim saying that he's a legend, but I don't want him to know that. It's rather be quiet about it. Maybe after he has retired, then it's only then that we can tell him that he is a legend.
Well, a very nice look there at some of the important moments, Ron, in Vuyani Bungu's boxing life, put together by Dion Potgieter.
Yeah, I think Dion did a great job. You know, he's very good at this. He did the one on Brian Baronet. But you look at Vuyani Bungu there, you realise what a great little fighter he is.